So Martin, you're just off the table. You've won the decider with a 126 break against Elliot Slessor into your first ranking event final tomorrow. How did that last frame feel?
Yeah, it felt amazing. Felt amazing, you know. You really wanted to, you find out about yourself really, to be honest, in them situations. Elliot played really well from 5-3 and put me bang under pressure. So to get the chance in the last and take it was really pleasing. To
take it to the decider, he knocked in a massive break and you had to sit there and watch him do that. And
yeah.
I'm watching it thinking, this is going to take some coming back from. And you got out your chair and knocked in a 126 total clearance. I mean, where did he get that from?
I don't know. I'm not sure where it came from, but I stayed calm in my chair and thought, you know, if you get a chance in the decider, you know, go for it with everything you've got, you know, be a little bit more composed than I was in the previous 2 frames, and just see what happens. And luckily they all went in.
12 years since you first became a professional. You had a couple of breaks off the tour in that time, but what does it mean to you now to reach that first ranking event final?
Oh, it means everything. It means absolutely everything. You know, there's been some dark times in the last few years. You know, and I've come out the other side of them, thankfully. You know, my fiance and my kids. You know, they've really picked me up and got me through some dark days. Probably that they don't really know were that dark, but you know. So yeah, no, to come out the other side and now to be in a ranking event final for the first time tomorrow is yeah, it's lovely.
There's going to be some people watching you this week that probably don't know Martin O'Donnell, that haven't seen you play before. So let's find out a little bit about you. When did you first start playing snooker? When did it become a thing?
Well, I probably first started playing when I was maybe 10. I was a late starter. You know, I played a bit of pool down the social club with my dad used to take us there on a Sunday. But yeah, I joined a club in North Harrow when I was maybe 11, 12, and I played in a competition on a Monday night there. And the first night I got to the final.
Wow.
So I was hooked then. And so next 6 weeks lost first round, but listen, that doesn't matter. Yeah, that hooked me, you know, and that competitiveness of, you know, the handicap competition every week. I just, I fell in love with it.
And who were the players that you watched? Who were the players you looked up to when you were growing up?
Well, we watched it I was watching it from a young age. So Jimmy White, my mum's a big fan. So we always loved Jimmy White, and you know, he broke our heart a few times at the World Championships. But then, you know, as he started to get a bit older at that time, it sort of morphed into John Higgins and Matthew Stevens and Paul Hunter. They were the 3 I used to really like watching to play.
And what does it mean now that we've come into this practice room and Jimmy White's come up to you as you walked in and offered you a few words of advice ahead of tomorrow's final? I mean, that, having watched him as a kid, that must mean something.
Yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. You know, you know, he's been generous with his time. You know, said some lovely stuff, and yeah, it's very surreal. It is very surreal. But yeah, no, I'm grateful for the advice.
And you mentioned there's been some dark times. You dropped off the tour twice. You came back on tour at the start of this season, coming through Q Tour last season. It must be great that you're not just back on tour, but you're having the success that you're having now. What do you think's made the difference?
To be honest, this new Q is making a fair bit of difference. Along with, I've got back with my coach Ian McCulloch this season. And, I was with him a few years ago, and yeah, luckily we've got back together, and he's really helped me on the mental side of stuff this year, and yeah, I'm really grateful to him.
It's interesting that the likes of Sean Murphy and Neil Robertson obviously both spent time off the tour as well, and they've both talked about how actually that can shape you as a player and as a person. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's you find out whether you've still got the stomach for it. You know, because it feels like a long way back when you drop off, because the amateur game is very competitive. There's a lot of good players out there just not struggling to make that next step to get on. So it can take you a couple of years, 2-3 years to get back on the tour. You know, you're not guaranteed to get straight back on. It's a bit too competitive. So, but I thought it's 12 months. I'll take an opportunity. I'll get a new Q, spring some life into myself, and work on myself every day. I thought, you know, let's get my head right for when I do get back on the tour and make sure I'm ready to give it a good go.
You mentioned your fiancée and your children there. They're 3 and 6. This has got to mean a lot to them back home as well. And will they be coming to see you tomorrow, do you think?
Yeah, Yeah, well, I'll make them come and see me, even if they don't want to. But yeah, no, it will mean an awful lot. You know, they're super proud of me, and you know, especially Anna, my missus. You know, she has seen some of the dark times with me, and it's you know, crying my eyes out at night with this game, and you know, not knowing what to do. You know, I don't really want to be one of those players that can't let the game go if it's. But I've never really felt like I'm finished here yet. I feel like I've still got some business to take care of, and hopefully that can start tomorrow.
Well, it's 12 years after you first turned professional. You're in a ranking event final. I mean, I think you've proved that already, regardless of what happens tomorrow, really. But there's certainly a lot to offer this sport. Now, we've got some video footage of you breakdancing, Martin. Now, you know, I think people probably know you as a reasonably steady player, and talk to us about breakdancing.
No, yeah, listen, I'm not so serious when I'm off the table. When I'm on the table, I know I do look a little bit too serious, and but no, that was Jason Ferguson's fault, to be honest with you, in China. You know, getting us to do these school trips, and we get, you know, think you're just going to go out to the kids and you know, have a chat with them and whatever, and yeah, we all got slung in. You know, a couple of them had to sing, and you know, I had to dance. It was. I wish I'd have had a bit of alcohol in me, can I tell you?
Well, we have got footage of that, of course, and that footage will last forever. But so do memories, and just.
Are you looking for a bribe here?
Oh, possibly. What would you say? I mean, obviously you've reached this ranking event final, but what would you say your greatest memories so far of your career, and your sort of greatest moments?
Well, previously to this week, you know, I'd say my run to the quarterfinals of the UK Championships, I think in 2018, I beat Ding Junhui in the last 16 in the twos table set. It was the first time I'd been there, and did well actually. I didn't make a total clearance, but I made a nice break to win. You know, and there's always with the BBC, it always feels a lot bigger and much more important, and so the pressure and stuff. So yeah, that was definitely, before this week, that was definitely probably my most proudest moment. Fantastic.
And tomorrow, I think whoever you end up playing in the final, you're going to be the underdog. You know, they're going to be the favourite with the bookmakers. The crowds here in Llandudno gave you a great welcome today.
They did.
And they can make a massive difference. If you could speak to them, if you could talk to the audience ahead of the final tomorrow, what would you say to them?
Well, I can't thank them enough for supporting me. You know, they've been absolutely fantastic this week, you know, and just to hear them cheering me on out there today and shouting for me, it's, you know, they're things you kind of dream of a little bit, you know. So yeah, you know, and it really helped, you know, it really egged me on, especially in the last frame, to get out of my chair and go, come on, let's have a good go here. Yeah, you know, hopefully same again tomorrow.
Brilliant, fantastic. Well, listen, well done today, Martin, and we'll leave you to complete the lineup. All the very best for the final.